What's up, child? Do your thing. Okay, now let's see. 5k, 6k, 15k. Thanks. Okay. 3k, 9k, 12k. So, Q. And now let's see. 7.3k. 7.3k. So 7.3k is with a crit hit. That's enough. 7.3. Don't die, Diluc. He died. It was 7.3k with Rust. So now let's see what this does. 8.1k. So that's a good 800 more damage with her Q procs. Yep, 8.1. Now Diluc, please don't die again. What's up YouTube? My name is Archer9712 and welcome to my first ever video. Today I will be comparing a Refinement 5 Rust and a Refinement 1 Skyward Harp on Yoimiya. So, without further ado, let's get to the video. So first up, let me show you the build I will be running on Yoimiya for this particular showcase. Currently, I'm running her on a 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames. There's no particular reason, it's just that my substats with these artifacts are decent, so yeah. And since Yoimiya gets crit rate as her ascension stat, that means that I will be using a crit damage headpiece on both Rust and the Skyward Harp. But the Skyward Harp's main stat is also crit rate. So for the Skyward Harp, I will be swapping some artifacts around so that I can get more crit damage, so that the comparison is fair. Now with Rust, these are my stats. She has a crit rate of 68.4% and 154.9% crit damage. And she also has 61.6% pyro damage bonus. And like I said, with the Skyward Harp, I will be switching my sands to this one, so that she can have a little bit more crit damage. And with that, her stats look like this. 80.7% crit rate and 196.7% crit damage. So keep in mind that I will be using food to buff her crit rate, but only for consistency reasons, and it will not affect her damage output. My first test subject will be the Cry Regisvine. At first I'll be comparing the last hit of her auto combo, and after that her Q damage and her passive Q proc damage. I'll also be doing a Vaporized Team Comp showcase with Yoimiya as the main DPS on the Primo Geovishap, and we'll see which of these two weapons can kill the Primo Geovishap faster. So, as you can see, the Refinement 5 Rust, Yoimiya's last auto attack does 13.7k damage. And with that, let's see what the Skyward Harp has to offer. In comparison to the Refinement 5 Rust, the Refinement 1 Skyward Harp only does 10.9k damage with her last auto attack. So if we only look at her auto attack damage, then Rust takes the cake. Now let's get to her Q damage. Rust's Q damage was 6.8k, while her passive damage that activates as soon as your teammates attack was 6.5 damage. Now back to Skyward Harp. So, with this Skyward Harp, the initial hit of Yoimiya's Elemental Burst does around 7.6k, and the passive hit does roughly 7.3k damage. So as we can see, the Refinement 5 Rust does more damage with her auto attacks, while the Skyward Harp does more damage with her Elemental Burst. But we also have to consider the Skyward Harp's passive ability, which is as follows. Hits have a 60% chance to inflict a small AoE attack, dealing 125% physical attack damage. This can only occur once every 4 seconds. So with this passive, her effective damage output while using her normal attacks is higher than what we tested. And because of that, we will do the Primo Geovishap comparison, and we'll see which of these weapons ultimately does more damage and kills it faster. So with Rust, Yoimiya took down the Primo Geovishap within 41 seconds. Now let's see if the Skyward Harp can kill it even faster. This was very close. The Skyward Harp was able to beat the Rust by merely 2 seconds. The additional damage the Skyward Harp gives Yoimiya with its passive ability, as well as the fact that her Elemental Burst does more damage over time with its passive, in fact allow the Skyward Harp to outperform a Refinement 5 Rust by a tiny bit. All in all, I think this comparison shows that a Refinement 5 Rust is equal in power to a Refinement 1 Skyward Harp. So for example, because Rust's ability fits Yoimiya perfectly, you can use the Rust on Yoimiya and save your Skyward Harp for another character like Fischl or maybe a future bow user. Now if you've enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you click that like button and subscribe to my channel. With all that said, I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you around.